Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2007 animated feature film, The Bee Movie. So this is from DreamWorks. I never saw this movie. It's been almost 20 years. I've never seen this film. I never had an interest in seeing this film. I always thought it was weird. I remember watching the trailer, and this was like peak. This was peak Shrek. Kung Fu Panda came out the year after this. Like DreamWorks does incredible projects in general. We've talked about how incredible DreamWorks is, especially their cinematography, the camera angles that they do, the perspective that they give us, and the musical score is incredible. The score in this film was awesome. It was very aviation, very flight, very. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. So the film, I know, has a very large cult following from all these years later. People are obsessed with the script. People have like the script printed out on on blankets, on like the full script in microprint as a blanket. I've seen that. I've seen it on sweatshirts. I've seen it like the beginning of that is a bee doesn't know that it's not supposed to fly, but it defies the laws of nature, or something like that, right? I've seen that quote numerous times, especially anytime we talk about global warming, or how we can't kill the bees because we would die. And a lot of stuff is taken from this film as argument points, and I never understood why you would quote an animated film consistently from 2007 in regards to saving the bees. But watching this, I now get it, because this film was very much, you can't kill the bees because without the bees you'll be dead. So Barry B. Benson is voiced by Jerry Seinfeld, who is one of the co-writers on this film. Hour and a half long, very quick. And it's funny. So he is tired of the bees being forced to make honey, and he escapes the hive in a let's go exploring sense. Now, I always found this movie weird because the trailer shows it as this bee forms a relationship with this woman voiced by her character's name is Vanessa, but it's voiced by Renee Zellweger. And I just was like, this is just strange. Why am I going to sit down for an hour and a half and watch a movie about a woman and a bee have a relationship? It's just weird. So it's their friendship. They enjoy their company together. It's platonic, obviously, since he's a bee. But he can talk. The bees can talk. So at one point, he says, enough's enough. And he sues humanity. And there's a whole lawsuit where bees against humans, and then bees are then given the right to do with their honey whatever they want. So they confiscate their honey, they go on strike, they stop collecting pollen to make honey, and then what happens? Well, plants start to die. So everything in Central Park, this takes place in Manhattan. So everything in Central Park is dying. Vanessa runs a florist shop. All her flowers are dead. And she's invited to the Rose Bowl in Pasadena as this last hurrah right before the flowers all die, because slowly it's trickling out that the flowers are now starting to die because bees are not pollinating anymore. So, because they don't have to. So they go to California, and then it's a last-ditch effort to get the remaining flowers that are the only thing left on Earth is in Pasadena. Bring the pollened flowers to Manhattan on a plane. That way the bees can restart to pollinate to help and then decide whether they want to give honey or not. So there's a whole thing at the end where it's bee approved honey and not forced bee labor honey. Very interesting. And then there's a whole thing about cows. Then they're forced to produce milk to make cheese and stuff, and it's sickening. And it's a very pro vegan like champion film. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. I never knew that the depth of this film. I just thought it was a weird romance film about a bee and a woman, but it's not. It's got science in it. It has like actual like philosophy in it. It's very interesting because it took me by surprise. I had low expectations for this film. I wanted to do a mini animated film marathon because we haven't done that in a very long time, and I miss it. I enjoy my animated films, and I haven't seen one in a very long time. So I wanted to do stuff I haven't seen before. This was on my docket. This was on my list of things to watch on Netflix. So I watched it, and I was very impressed. So I understand the fandom of it, that fact that it only has one movie, the fact that it's quoted constantly within any form of animal rights advocates, or just talking about bees in general, how they're going extinct, and we as humans will die if the bees go extinct. So it was very interesting. It was very interesting watching it. I enjoyed it. It took me by surprise. Score was just gorgeous. It's a DreamWorks film, bro. They do wonderful projects within music, and this was very, and the bees flying too. It was very cinematic that way. I really enjoyed it. Took me by surprise. So let's see if the next one takes me by surprise. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.